Good morning, beloveds. I have, and she immediately turns around. Sugar. So, she's just being extra clingy this morning. I know we've got weather coming. Weather. I think our chances of rain for the next 3 days are pretty, and Wednesday, they're really high. And then the cold front comes in, which will be nice because it's going to be 90 degrees today and it's almost the end of October. It was a blistering weekend. I was only out at fair on Saturday and oh my goodness. It was just, we were like, so I kind of felt bad for them yesterday, but I was grateful that I didn't have to be there. So hopefully the rest of the run of the fair, the weather will be nicer. But so I figure it's the weather that's got Sugar a little clingy. So whoop, hello, where are you going? Where are you going? You gonna stay up there? And she's down. She's a cat. Who knows? All right. So it is October 25th. Our title is God is the health of my body, the inspiration of my mind, and the good of my universe. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thy health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee. The glory of the Lord shall be thy reward. And that is Isaiah 58:8. Isaiah is a very long one. We believe in the omnipresence, the omnipotence, the omniscience, and the omni-action of God as mind, life, truth, and beauty. Therefore, all that we are, or ever shall be, is part of the universal being. Our health is God in action. Our consciousness is mind in action. Our good is the manifestation of spirit. If we believe this, then it becomes our experience, for the law of mind produces it. Disease falls away from the person who is thinking in godlike terms. Confusion melts from the thought of him whose mind is stayed on God. The universe becomes a friendly, creative atmosphere to all who love the good and live rightly with their fellow man. Thousands have proven the truth in this way of life. The healed, the inspired, and the successful bear witness to this truth we love, for the law is impersonal. It works for all who cooperate with it. We now blend with all that God is, and the demonstrations of good appear. My health is an automatic expression of my consciousness. No illness can hold me in its clutches, for I rise on the wings of God's thoughts and into the perfect health of body and mind. I am inspired with the living, pulsating ideas of the Spirit. The inspiration of the Almighty is mine today. I am led into paths of perfect activity, bringing good results. My universe is saturated with divine love and order, and it returns to me the good I now believe returns to me the good I am now believing to be mine as a child of God. God is the health of my body, the inspiration of my mind, and the good of my universe at this moment and all through the day. All right. Just a quick note. When we read things like the God is the health of my body, and then the good I am believing in, because I have been diagnosed with a couple of chronic, i.e. like autoimmunes or chronic illnesses, when you hear things like that, you're immediately going, well, am I not believing hard enough? No, you're not. It's not that you're not believing hard enough. There's a whole lot that goes into this. Environment goes into it, genetics go into it, and all of that. And if we were all Emma Curtis Hopkins and could practice hardball metaphysics, maybe life would be different. But we are still human. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that's one of the reasons why I always like to go back to Amit Goswami, Dr. Goswami, and his book, The Quantum Doctor, where he talks about the 5 layers What he calls the gross body would be what I would call the material body. And then we have the bliss body. And the bliss body, and then there's 3 layers in between. One of them being an emotional layer, one of them being a mental layer, and then one of them being, I always forget what that one is. He calls it the super mental body. And right now, the description of it is not in my head. But so the bliss body is the perfect version of us, the perfect version of our health, the perfect version of our mental state, the perfect version. It's God's idea of us. And then the material body is the body that we are running around in. This one, okay? Now there are 5 layers to go through. So God has this perfect idea of us. But there are 3 layers that include race consciousness, and they include our own consciousness, and when race consciousness, which is every human's idea of sickness and health and death and dying and chronic illnesses and all of this, and then then the environmental. So all of that feeds into it. So not for 1 minute should you ever think that you are not believing hard enough if you are dealing with not the bliss body. Okay? Do not beat yourself up about it. It is not your fault. Now, there are things that you can do. A wide range of things that you can do. And that's one of the things I love about Ernest is that he's like, well, doctors were created by God. Medication was created by God. So, we have all of these options and we should take those into mind. Don't ever think that your health is entirely your belief. All right? There are people who walk around and there's a book called Spontaneous Remissions where people overnight, but most of us are walking around and we're not at that level. We're not at that level. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to keep living my life and I'm going to keep loving my life and I'm going to keep doing. What I am going to do is when you hear words like that, I'm going to do that in my spiritual practice. I'm going to do that in my sacred time. And I'm going to put that on the back burner in my unconscious. Because by doing that, it will filter up to the bliss body. And the bliss body will filter back down. And then I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I always worry when people see that and they're like, well, but I'm not believing. Don't take that on. Please don't take that on. You are a beloved child of God. And sometimes it's not all about us. It is the relationship that we have, 1 with God and 2 with each other. And we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. God is the health of my body, the inspiration of my mind, and the good of my universe. And I love the quote from Isaiah because it's pretty much the title. Then shall the light break forth as the morning. It is to a degree about our relationship with God, with Spirit. And it is the relationship that we have with ourselves. And when it's working, it works. And the light shines forth. And sometimes we get off track. And that's okay. Because we can always get back up and get back on track. And thine health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee, and the glory of the Lord shall be thy reward. Isaiah 58:8. We believe in the omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience, and the omni-action of God as mind, life, truth, and beauty, which means that literally everything around us is God, including us. Therefore, all that we are or ever shall be is part of the universal being. Our health is God in action. And we bear a responsibility for how we take care of the vehicle that we are moving through. And some of it is what we believe about the body, and some of it is what we do to take care of the body. Okay? It is a vehicle, and we should do regular car maintenance, regular vehicle maintenance on this body. Our consciousness is mind in action. Our good is the manifestation of spirit. If we believe this, then it becomes our experience, for the law of mind produces it. For the law of it becomes our experiences because we believe in it. Disease falls away from the person who is thinking in God-like terms. That's what I'm talking about, the bliss body. And remember that disease is dis-ease. So and I've been diagnosed with clinical anxiety and clinical depression. And one of the things that helped me was when I started taking classes, and I started taking treatment classes, and I started taking meditation classes, and I started to examine my relationship with God. And when I examined my relationship with God, and then was able to, after that, examine my relationship with my fellow godlings, and I started treating myself as a beloved child of God, and started treating other people as beloved children of God, it got better. It got better. All right. Now, there were other things. I did take the medication, and I did start exercising, and I did start eating right. But it was all part of that greater healing. It was all part of that greater healing. So, confusion melts from the thought of him whose mind is stayed on God. The universe becomes a friendly, creative atmosphere to all who love the good and live rightly with their fellow human. How do we live rightly with our fellow human? We don't hurt them. If we cannot help them, the least we can do is not hurt them. And that's why I'm always talking about thinking rightly and doing rightly. And that is about making sure of the benefit and the harm. As long as it benefits at least one person and harms nobody, then we're doing right. If it harms anybody, then we got to go back and rethink it. Especially if it harms us. Because we don't ever want to get into that doormat where, oh, this is for the good of, but it hurts you. No, that's not acceptable either. It harms none. It harms none. Do not let yourself be, do not wear yourself out being a benefit to everybody else, because and then you're not being a benefit to yourself. One, then eventually you're going to wear out and can't be a benefit to anybody else. And two, it's not what God wants. God wants you to be happy as well. Thousands have proven the truth in this way of life. The healed, the inspired, and the successful bear witness to this truth we love, for the law is impersonal. The law is not going to judge. The law is going to give us what we ask for, as long as we are in alignment with what the law is. For it works for all who cooperate with it. We now blend with all that God is, and the demonstrations of good appear. It really is about coming into alignment with that bliss body, coming into alignment with God's idea of us, about creativity and prosperity and abundance and happiness and joy and love, and being the subjective love, being that divine love. And then within that divine love, all the other kind of loves are included: the romantic love, and the brotherly love or sibling love, and the parental love. All of that is included. All of that is included. So my health is an automatic expression of my consciousness. And for me, that is a very real thing. And I've learned this, managing, one, the anxiety and the depression, and two, managing my gut. When I manage my gut, because my gut will tell me that my brain is out of whack faster than anything else. So my consciousness, because they talk about the brain and the gut brain, It's a real thing. It's why that you want to listen to your gut. Sometimes it's more on track with what's going on than your head is. No illness can hold me in its clutches, for I rise on the wings of God's thought. Okay, no illness can hold me in its clutches. It means that even if I have the illness, whatever it is that I am dealing with, it can't stop me from doing what I want to do. It can't hold me back. I'm still going to find ways to go out and do whatever it is that I'm going to do, even in the midst of this dis-ease. It cannot hold me in its clutches. For I rise on the wings of God's thoughts into perfect health of body and mind. And that is whole health for me. Whole health for you. And it may not look like everybody else's, and that is okay. I am inspired with the living, pulsating ideas of spirit. The inspiration of the Almighty is mine today. I am led into the paths of perfect activity, bringing good results. We are in the power statements, the mantras. Use these words. And if something doesn't resonate with you, change them. Ernest is okay with that. You can hear him. My universe is saturated with divine love and order, and it returns to me the good I am now believing to be mine as a child of God. I am believing in my good because I am a child of God. You are a child of God. Believe in your good. God is the health of my body, the inspiration of my mind, and the good of my universe at this moment and all through the day. God is the health of my body. It means anything is possible. Anything at all is possible. Because God has an idea of us that is beyond what we know ourselves. So sometimes we just have to, and I'm going to say it, let go and let God. We take all the appropriate steps. We follow the guidance of those created by God, and we follow the intuition of God, and we accept the bliss body. We accept the bliss body. We accept what is perfect for us. All right, beloveds. You heard the mission of the day. So the mission, should we choose to accept it, is believing in the good because we are children of God. Believe in the good. Believe that the good is for you. Believe in all of the good for you because you are a child of God. All right? And your journey is not going to look like anybody else's. It's going to look like yours. All right. I am going to move into the process of my day. But before that, I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. When that cat got down off my shoulder, when Sugar got down off my shoulder, there's a roll of foam that goes on a bed. She just went and curled up in that and took a nap. That's loving, kind, and compassionate for herself. Do something like that. Go curl up in a comfy place, read a good book, drink a cup of tea, take a nap. Or, if you're like me, go out, get on a bike, ride around your neighborhood and look at all of the amazing Halloween decorations going on. That's a loving, kind, compassionate thing for me. Now, yesterday, I took a nap. So, there's multiple ways to do loving, kind, compassionate things, and I want you to experience them all, and that's why I encourage you to do something every day, because I want it to be a permanent habit. I want it to be a default habit. I want it to be your first response to you. I want you to create that bank of loving, kindness, compassion for yourself because you are a beloved child of God and you deserve it. And you'll have enough to share when you meet somebody that needs a little extra. All right. I do encourage you to engage your mind and your body. I would encourage you to go get a face full of sun, but it's cloudy here, so because we're about to have weather. So, whatever. Drink plenty of water. And whatever else you do, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you You do live in heaven now, right here, right now. It's all around us. We just got to look for the good. Look for the good. If we look for the good, we'll find it. And when we find it, there's more of it. All right, beloveds. I think the Monday Night Book Study is taking a break tonight, and then they'll start up again next week on November 1st. I'm not entirely sure about that, so email info@creativelife.org if you want to know for sure. Get on that mailing list, and then that way you have access to all the links to get all the Zooms and whatever else that goes on all week. Whatever else you do, have a great day, an amazing day, a stunning day, a marvelous day, a fabulous day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. All right, beloveds, know that you are loved. Always. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you on Facebook Live. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. on Facebook Live. Check us out on the social medias, Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. And I am the Running Rev Ryan. Just find us. We're spreading across the social media slowly. All right, beloveds. I will see you next time. Know that you're loved.